What's going on? How you doing? My name's David the Crook, and today I got a video on how to mix that J. Cole type vocals. The vocals we're going to be mixing, they give you that like J. Cole, Mac Miller, just that old school vibe. That's pretty much what we're going for. It's not really necessarily J. Cole, but it has that vibe. So we're just going to mix the vocals like if they were J. Cole vocals. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to subscribe and drop a like. I have a song here. It's called Diaries of a Broke Man by R.SOl. This song goes hard. It's just like I said, it's that old school vibe. It's one of those songs that just makes you feel good. It's like bars, and it just goes hard. So I'm gonna play the song, like the verse, and we'll just go from there.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost, now found, but I still won't be a clown and leave it open, just so y'all can roll in and fuck up my new couches. Blame it on the old friend. This shit is getting played out. I never needed no friends.
There we go, that's the hook right there. I ended up taking off all the plugins just because we'll be building this vocal chain from scratch. And honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I use like the same 4 plugins just to start off every vocals, just because that's gonna be our base, our foundation to how our vocals are gonna be sounding. And honestly, I could just create a preset and just throw that on, but I like creating my stuff from scratch, even though I use the same stuff. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that the first plugin I always use is an automation plugin, and that plugin is by a company called WA Production. It's called R.SOl. If you don't want to buy this one, you could use like Waves Vocal Writer, or you could personally go in and automate it yourself. But I'm gonna use this. I'm only gonna grab 50% of the signal just because I like that mixture of the raw vocal as well as this automation that it's gonna do to the vocals. And I'm gonna play it, and it's gonna make a difference. Just pay attention to this purple thing. It's pretty much what's gonna show you what it's bringing up.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is,
So for example, when he said, "Y'all don't even know how tight this rope is," when he says rope is, and then it, you know how like your voice is dying down, well, this plugin is grabbing 50% of that signal, and it's just automating it, just keeping the vocals consistent throughout the whole song. So that's the cool thing about this. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a compressor, and the first compressor, my go-to, is R.SOl, because what this does to vocals is amazing. And with this J. Cole vibe thing, we're gonna go for a good amount of compression. We're not gonna go too heavy on the highs, just because we're not going for that like that Atlanta trap kind of vibe. We're gonna go for more of that old school mix with like a R&B vibe. We're just gonna make something dope. So I'm gonna probably do like about 4 or 5 dB compression.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope.
So that sounds good right there. It just brings out the vocals a little bit more. Then from here, my next go-to plugin is the R.SOl channel strip, just because what you could do with this plugin is amazing. You could honestly just like EQ and compress, and then it has this dope analog, adds like a nice color to the vocals. I'm just gonna cut out some lows, probably about like 130, 140, just take out some of that low end, not too much of it, just because we kind of want it in the song. Also, we're gonna do a little bit more compression, and then just boost up certain frequencies.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost.
So with this compression, it's gonna be a slower release, just so when he says certain words that he emphasizes, and he like, I'd rather be hopeless. When he said hopeless, that's kind of what I want to be compressed. It's not really what he said before. It's just mostly when he said like hopeless or whatever else he rhymed with. And then I'm gonna do a boost at 16K just to bring out some air, bring out some of that crispiness into the vocals.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost, now found, but I still won't be a clown and leave it open, just so y'all can
So I ended up boosting at around 6.11k just to bring out some more of that presence, more of that, a little bit of more of that highness, because we're trying to take out that emotion. We're trying to take out that feeling of the song, of what he's saying. So boosting up at around 6k is going to help. I ended up cutting just like 0.5 at around 37, and we're just taking out some of that muddiness. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a pool tech, and the pool tech I use is by Waves. And honestly, I always use Waves plugins. They're my go-to plugins just because they're so affordable and they get the job done. Like honestly, for this plugin I paid 26 bucks. It was on sale for 29, but I have a 10% discount code, so I got it for 26. Now if you want that, it'll be down below in the description. So if you really think about it, this hardware, the actual hardware, the Pultec EQ costs like thousands of bucks, but bro, why are you gonna buy freaking $1,000 hardware? You could literally get the replication in a plugin for 26 bucks. Like maybe in the future, like if you're really balling out and you got like a couple thousand just to drop, then yeah, buy it. But for now, I might as well get it for 26 bucks. It literally sounds the same. The people that are gonna hear the music, they're not gonna know the difference. They're not gonna be like, oh man, they use an emulation plugin. Damn, bro, they don't even know what the hell they be listening to. As long as it sounds good, it sounds good.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost now.
So with this plugin, I ended up boosting about 2.5 just to take out some of that fullness out the vocals, just to beef it up a little bit. I boosted up around 12k just to bring out more presence, more of that highness. I added attenuation at 1.5 just to kind of balance it out. You don't want too much of those S's. And from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an F6. Now with this plugin is dope because it's like a mixture of an EQ, compression. I think they call it like a dynamic EQ if I'm not mistaken. But the cool thing about this is, for example, if I want to cut this frequency, it's not completely cutting it out. It's more compressing that frequency. So when that boxiness does come, it just compresses it. It's not like a normal EQ that once you take it out, those frequencies are pretty much like gone. This plugin is more of a like compression kind of thing. So you can do a lot of dope stuff with it. It helps with like guitars and stuff like that. But we're just going to use it on vocals.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost, now found, but I still won't be a clown and leave it open, just so y'all can roll in and fuck up my new couches. Blame it on the old friend. This shit is getting played out. I never needed no friends, even close friends. Shake your hand with snake skin, roaches in my cornflakes. I thought that they was raisins. It's hard to keep it the same when going through many changes. Trust me, I know exactly how these days spent. Slaving long hours, tears on the pavement. Praying one day.
I ended up doing a little bit of a boost, and I'm not really getting all the words to boost up. It's just certain words that when it goes over the threshold, it's gonna boost up. So I did a kind of slow attack, a very fast release. Also with this, I did a slower attack, faster release. Not too worried about the attack and the release for this frequency. It's just trying to take out the boxiness, and I cut at around 130. Then from here, what I'm gonna do is, because there is a lot of S's in this specific song, I'm gonna de-S earlier than I normally do, and it's just gonna be a simple the male S, and I'm just gonna go for not too noticeable of a de-S, but it's still gonna be noticeable. And I'm de-S'ing before I compress, just because when those S's come out, it's gonna throw the compressor off, and it's just gonna over compress those words, and I kind of don't want to deal with that. If I'm being honest, I might as well take care of the problem right now by de-S'ing certain S's right now.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like.
So it's just a simple de-S'ing. Then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a compressor, and the first compressors I always use is stock Logic Pro X compressor, just because these compressors are amazing. Like dead ass, bro, I would pay for these, but they're free, so I got them for free. So I usually just use these 4 here. These are for like drums. I mean, you could use them on vocals too, but man, I'm just gonna use these, see which one sounds better, just because each one of these compressors give the vocals a certain color, a certain feeling to the vocal. So you just gotta find out which one works best for the song you're gonna be mixing. But for this song, we're just gonna go through each 4 of them, and then we'll just find out which one sounds best. For some odd reason, this little needle thing isn't working, so we're just gonna go bass off our ear, and I'm gonna show you it's working just because I don't want someone to say, oh, that compressor ain't even working. Man, shut the hell up, it's working. Look,
Diaries of a broke man.
Over compressed.
Trying to find hope, but it's hopeless.
Over compressed.
Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost, now I'm found, but I still won't be a clown and leave.
So this one sounds good. It really takes out the emotion out the vocal. So I put about -27 threshold. I don't know how much compression it's doing because I can't see it, but we're going based off ear, so it's cool like that. Then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a parallel compression, and I'm gonna use Pulsar Smasher. I did a video on this. It's pretty dope plugin. You might as well get it for free. You could get it for free right now on Plugin Boutique, so you might as well go download it right now instead of having to pay $100 later on. If I'm being dead ass honest, bro, I get most of my plugins for free or on sale. Like, I'm not gonna buy the plugin at full price when I could get it on sale. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know. I guess you could say I'm cheap, but I'm gonna put the output at 100, mix at 100. I'm gonna mess with this input. It adds a good amount of noise signal, like saturation, to the vocals. So I like using this. It is gonna make the vocals a lot louder, but that's when I just mess with that mix knob and just get a good amount of parallel compression onto the vocals.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down. I was lost, now I'm found, but I still won't be a clown and leave it open just so y'all can.
So that sounds cool right there. I did the input at 11. I took out a little bit of the output just because it's a little bit too loud for me, and then I put the mix at 25. That's cool right there. Then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the last and final compressor, and that compressor I'm gonna be using is a CLA 2A. This is one of those compressors that like models, one of those like famous compressors that people use. And with this compressor, the attack and the release are already built in it. So as you could tell, I like using multiple compressors. I don't like using just like 2 compressors. I like stacking compressors, but I'll be stacking like 5, 8 compressors, and then each one of them just does something different. So for example, one compressor will have like 1.5 dBs of ratio. The other one will have like 2 dB. Is that what we call it? Like 2 dB ratio or whatever, like 2-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1 ratio. But man, I like stacking compressors. It adds like a dope color to the vocals, and every time you do it, it always sounds different. So you might as well just play with it. You could always get like a unique sound. So with this, I'm gonna just go for like a 2-3 dB compression.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah.
So that sounds good from there. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a de-esser, and the de-esser I'm gonna be using is Sibilance by Waves. And the reason I like using this is because not only does it take out the S's, but it also takes out other certain frequencies, certain sibilances, I think is what you call it, that are harsh to the ear. So if I were to put this on monitor, solo the vocal, you could really hear what frequencies are being reduced.
Diaries of a broke man. Nah, I'd rather lose a friend than lose.
So you can really hear what frequencies that it's taking out. So that's a cool thing about sibilance, and something that other de-essers don't really do. So I'm gonna keep like that. I'm not gonna add auto-tune to the song just because it doesn't really need auto-tune. So from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the S1 imager, and I'm just gonna boost it out just a little bit more, probably about like 120. Yeah, I'll probably leave it at 120. It's not really that noticeable. If you're hearing headphones, it probably is a little bit more, but this is just to widen up the vocals a little bit more. Now, if you don't want to buy this plugin, just go to Imaging Studio Spread, and this plugin is going to do the same exact thing. So put this at 0, throw this above 500, and I wouldn't go past 25%, and it's going to do the same thing. If you're going to throw it on like dubs and ad-libs, then I would go in implements of 5. So like the main vocal would be at 20, dubs at 25%, and then the ad-libs at 30%, just to spread out each voice in its own specific space, I guess you could call it. And then from here, what I'm doing is I'm just gonna be busting these plugins. I honestly like busting delays, reverbs, a preamp, just because I don't like throwing a whole reverb on here, because then it just sounds weird, like. And then I gotta go in here and there's play with this decay time and the mix knob, and man, it's too much work. I might as well just throw everything on, and I feel like you have more control when you bust stuff, so that's why I'm gonna bust these plugins. The first one I'm gonna add is Little Raider. This is a preamp. It's gonna add, man, I love this plugin. And if you don't want this plugin, you could go to Softtubes and then just look up saturation knob. This plugin is free. It's kind of like the same thing. It's gonna add harmonics and saturation to the vocals to beef it up, so that one's cool too. And then if you don't want this one for free, you could just go to distortion, use any of these distortions. Overdrive sounds cool on like vocals, so use that. I like using this one just because I like what this does to the vocals.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend.
So that sounds cool right there. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bust some delay, and I always use H delay just because it's honestly like the easiest delay to use. I just put ping pong, go left to right, put the host so it matches up with the BPM of the song. I put up 1/8, feedback at 60, cut some of that low, analog on 0, just because you don't want analog on your delay because it adds like a nasty noise to the song. And just like at the end of the song, when it's like dying down, you just hear like a trust me, you know how long it took me to find out what the hell that noise was, and the whole time was H delay, bro. I swear to God, dude, it was horrible. And then I added a side chain just to compress that delay, so it's just mostly with this J. Cole style vibe we're gonna go for. We don't want the delay to be too noticeable. We just want it to be in the background, subtle, and then when there's a pause, that's when like the delay just pops in, comes in, and then it comes out when he starts rapping again. So I put the ratio at 3, quick attack, quick release, and then just mess with the threshold. And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna overdo it so you can really hear the delay, and then I'm just gonna subtly blend it in.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is, nah. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my focus, yeah. I'd rather keep my doors locked down.
From here, what I'm gonna do is add the reverb, and the first reverb I'm gonna be adding is Little Plate by Soundtoys. I think I got this one for free. I think when they released it, they gave it out for free, so I got it for free before having to buy it. I cut out some of the lows, and then I used the MB2 to take out more of that plate, so this is what it's really doing.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah.
So if you have this plugin, you could just mess with that high level, low level. You could do some dope stuff to the reverb. If you don't have this, use like a distortion, just anything to take out that reverb. So I put the decay time at 3, almost 4. With this J. Cole type vocal, we're gonna go for with the reverb. If you're going for that old school J. Cole, you want like a room, a small reverb with a small decay time, like one of those reverbs that like slap in your face and just keep everything in the vocal. But we added our own little twist to this, so we're gonna use like bigger reverbs and bigger decay times, just because for the song we're gonna go for it. And the second reverb we use is Reverb Plate 140. I ended up adding some drive, put the model at 2, the decay times at 4, the blends all the way, the widths all the way up, and then same thing, cut out some of the lows, took out some of that room with the MV2. And then with this one, we're just gonna blend it in. Wow, this one's more of a smaller plate, like that, like I said, that slap reverb in your face, but it has a bigger decay time, so it adds a bit more space to it.
Diaries of a broke man. I'm trying to find hope, but it's hopeless. This shit make you feel like Cole wrote this, yeah. Also bring the vibe that you can cope with, yeah. Y'all don't even know how tight that rope is.
And that's pretty much it. That's how you mix J. Cole type vocals. Now, honestly, I'll just play with the reverb a little bit more, get that perfect blend for the song, but I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Like I said, the full song will be down below in the description, so you can check out the full song. When he said, I'd rather lose a friend than lose a focus, I was like, damn, that's some facts right there. Honestly, you might as well just do what you got to do. People come and go, so you might as well get where you want to get in life, because we're all going to die someday. So you might as well just do whatever you want. I'm not saying go kill somebody, but man, if you have a dream, bro, you might as well try doing it. Now I want to remind you to subscribe and drop a like. Now if you want your song mixed and mastered by me, feel free to hit me up on my Instagram or on my website. Everything will be down below in the description. Also the Waves discount code if you want to buy Wave plugins. Like I said, they're 29 bucks. You get it for 26. Stupid cheap. Instead of paying like the full price, you might as well get it. And if you're gonna buy like a bundle, same thing, it works on everything. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next video. My name is David the Crook, and I'll see you next time. Peace.